happening now. Excitement is building. The countdown is on to the solar eclipse.
There is a huge line outside now. Hundreds of people.
The last-minute rush for glasses.
I think we've got a couple hundred left right now.
We have live Team 2 coverage of the historic event. Our team is spanned out across the path of totality and Metro Atlanta.
Live, local, late-breaking. This is Channel 2 Action News at noon. Coverage you can count on.
Oh, yeah. Right now, we're less than 2 hours away from the solar eclipse in Georgia. Good afternoon to you. I'm Fred Blankenship.
I'm Carol Sparge. In less than an hour, the eclipse will hit U.S. soil. Here's a live look from Madras, Oregon. You can see people already gathering on the beach. And a live picture from Dillard in the North Georgia mountains. Folks there started setting up on Friday.
Ready to go. Right now, News Chopper 2 is flying over traffic building as people rush to North Georgia. We have live Team 2 coverage. Our reporters and meteorologists are spanned out across the southeast for the historic event that hasn't happened in nearly 100 years. Our live Team 2 coverage begins in Charleston, South Carolina, where Chief Meteorologist Glenn Burns is right now. And Glenn, Charleston is the last city in the path of totality.
It is indeed. In fact, the sun is going to go out and set just before it reaches Africa. So we're the last stop on its journey here across the United States. We have NASA right next to us. All of the students here at the College of Charleston, all very excited. Behind me, of course, is Mike Massimo. He's a space shuttle pilot. We'll be talking to him a little bit later. But skies are a little overcast right now. We're getting some breaks in the clouds. We're still optimistic, and everyone here is just excited to see what's going to be history-making eclipse.
I mean, the eclipse has been been a lot of anticipation built up all summer, so thousands of people are here for it. I think it's going to be really cool.
After months of anticipation, we're just a couple of hours away from the total solar eclipse in Charleston, South Carolina. David Dundee, the astronomy program manager at TELUS Science Museum, traveled here with us to walk us through what we can expect.
And this afternoon, during the eclipse, the moon will cast a shadow onto the Earth and will be perfectly lined up at new moon.
When the sun goes dark, you may be able to see some planets usually not visible to the naked eye. To the west of the sun,
you'll see the planet Venus, and to the east of the sun, the planet Jupiter. And if we have a good clear sky, we might even spot Mars.
The temperature is expected to drop, and the darkness could cause streetlights to turn on. And some nighttime insects like mosquitoes and crickets, they'll come out. People here realize it's a unique experience.
A lot of us, we've never seen an eclipse before. Like I said, it's usually just once in a lifetime. I think a lot of people are excited about it, getting emails about, get your glasses here.
They're just doing it.
Now, please join us. We're going to be live this afternoon at wsb-tv.com. We've got the group from NASA coming over. They're going to explain what they hope to accomplish by studying this unbelievable event across the area. And, of course, we're going to be here covering that every step of the way. And I do want to point out that we're going to see, again, from Mike Massimo, who's a space shuttle astronaut. He's going to lend us his expertise on all of this. For now, I'm Chief Meteorologist Glenn Burns reporting live from the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina.
Glenn, how cool is this? We have Mondays, and then we have solar eclipse Mondays. Glenn, thank you very much.
And as you can imagine, crowds started growing in North Georgia over the weekend. Channel 2's Ross Cabot joins us live in Rabun County, right in the path of totality.
Here in Dillard, if you paid a price for a package here at the Dillard House, you get to have a little lunch, have your own seats ready for when the eclipse starts here in just a few hours. Go to some videotape of our drive up here. Obviously, the closer you got to the center of totality, the more congested it got. We ran into several stop-and-go bits of traffic on the way up from Atlanta early this morning. Right now, the crowds are migrating to the shade until they have to move out to get that unblemished scene. We talked to a lot of folks who came out here, some from near, some from very far, who told me they didn't want to read about this in the newspaper or have someone else explain it to them.
Well, from what I hear, it's both the longest and shortest moment of your life, seeing totality. So I guess experiencing it will be better than having that explained.
All eyes are on the skies right now, as Glenn Burns mentioned. We're really pretty clear right now, but you see those clouds off to my right. There's some to the east and a few to the west. So we hope that's where they stay when the eclipse begins. We're live in Dillard. Ross Cabot, Channel 2 Action News.
Ross, thank you. That's right. Stay exactly where you are, clouds. Clouds are building, but we will get to see the eclipse.
Meteorologist Karen Minton continues our live Team 2 coverage in Severe Weather Center 2.
Yes, we are going to have some dry air sticking with us through the day, so spots will be looking much better than we saw just about a week and a half ago. Currently, we're looking at temperatures that are climbing into the upper 80s on the way to the 90s. It's getting hot right now, but we're also seeing a couple of showers. These are in North Carolina and parts of South Carolina. They just kind of blew up, and they're really not moving very much, drifting a little bit to the southwest. But in our state, it is dry for us right now. And as we look at that forecast throughout the day, we're going to be seeing our temperatures climbing at the start of the eclipse around 105, 106. We're seeing 90-degree temperatures with about 30% cloud cover in the area, with our temperatures at 85 degrees. This is at the peak of the partial eclipse here in Atlanta. It will be total in the mountains, but here in town, we dipped from 90 to 85 around 2:36. By 4 o'clock at the end of it, our temperatures are rebounding again.
This map shows the path of today's eclipse. Now it's going to begin on the west coast in Salem, Oregon, then travel across 14 states, ending right there in Charleston, South Carolina. Channel 2 meteorologist Katie Walls continues our live Team 2.
We still have about 2,000 left, so if you're looking for a place to view the eclipse, be sure to hurry on up here. I don't want to jinx us, but traffic on I-75 northbound was actually pretty nice. Of course, we'll have that live feed from a very powerful telescope throughout Channel 2 Action News. I'm live in Cartersville, Severe Weather Team 2 meteorologist Katie Walls.
Cannot wait. I know I woke up very excited. I felt like it was almost like when I was a kid at Halloween. Thank you. And happening now, we are bracing for record crowds on the roads today for the eclipse. Officials are treating today like a major travel holiday. Channel 2's Jason Durden continues our live Team 2 coverage in News Chopper 2 over I-85 near 985.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the whole thing.
By far the worst of the traffic was earlier today, like in the 8 o'clock hour, stretching up towards 10 o'clock. It got really bumper to bumper out here. Right now, we're at the 85, 985 merge. This slow traffic is where it's coming up and going up into 985, but all the way out towards Gainesville, it's not bumper to bumper. It's more that crowded, annoying stuff that's moving at or right below the speed limit. But look for slow patches on 985 up towards Gainesville. On 85, it's slow patches right now up towards Commerce from the 985 area. But again, it is not bumper to bumper. Just be careful on these roads. We are live over Gwinnett County.
There will not be any totality out there. Looking ahead toward the end of it, the eclipse is over by 4:01 this afternoon. So let's see what's going on. On this graphic, you look for the brownish colors, some drier air, and so that is good for us today, eliminating the real big potentials for downpours and widespread rain. So overall, a little bit drier air in place, but we'll still see some of those clouds bubbling up. And can't rule out that isolated shower like we've been seeing so far as we started our newscast at noon across the Carolinas and kind of drifting into Rabun County. But for most of us, it's going to stay dry, and that will allow us a better opportunity to see this spectacular event. Now, your temperatures, they're climbing into those lower 90s. We're already in the upper 80s in many spots, and we're going to see it stay on the warm side. However, once we get to the peak phase of it, as the air temperatures drop, you'll be noticing that significantly, and it may dim a little bit in your viewing here, even in the metro area, but certainly you'll see much, much lower light as you get up into North Georgia. It'll be more like dusk, and it is going to certainly show a decrease in the temperatures. But those numbers will go back up once the totality is over and we see the sunshine come back out. They'll rise back into the 90s again. Looking forward to some rain in your area. Well, hopefully not today, but by Wednesday with the front coming in, we'll see a good chance of showers in the afternoon.
People are starting to line the streets in downtown Atlanta, but what will it be like when the eclipse hits? At noon, we are live where people are expected to empty their office buildings.
And 10,000 people expected at Sanford Stadium here at UGA to watch the eclipse. How far some have come to be here. Next.
The University of Georgia is getting ready to open up Sanford Stadium so students and the public can come and watch the solar eclipse. And Channel 2's Richard Elliott continues our live Team 2 coverage from Athens, where long lines formed early this morning. Richard.
And they went ahead and opened the gates early here at Sanford Stadium. We're expecting 10,000 people to file in. Remember a few years back, former UGA head coach Mark Richt asked fans to wear all black. They called it a blackout here at the stadium. They are calling this one an eclipse blackout. Now, I do want to show you the video we shot about an hour and a half ago as folks were already lining up outside the stadium. They're expecting, as we said, about 10,000 people. The first 5,000 will get free eclipse glasses. We talked to folks who drove from Atlanta and from Jefferson just to be here.
Yes, I left around 7 a.m.
Why?
Because I wanted to see the eclipse and because Helen was already booked.
To watch the solar eclipse.
How'd you get your mom to take you?
I begged her.
And again, they open up gates early, so folks are already filing in. We're expecting maximum eclipse, which here in Athens is going to be a little bit over 99%, to happen here at about 2:38 this afternoon. We will be here. We're live in Athens. Richard Elliott, Channel 2 Action News.
Richard, thank you. A very cool place to watch the eclipse. And thousands have packed our local highways to get a good view of the solar eclipse. This is a live look from our DOT camera over Georgia 400 at Northridge Road of the traffic heading north. Not too bad right now. That's where people will get the best view of the eclipse.
We got a look inside of Habersham County's Emergency Management Command Center. Officials say local and state agencies have spent more than a year planning to keep traffic moving and keep people safe even for the worst scenarios.
If we have a bus turnover and it shuts down the road and we have to bring in, multiple ambulances, multiple fire equipment.
Officials have extra crews working today and more resources in place.
Officials are warning drivers trying to view the eclipse to stay off the side of the roads. Traffic could become a bigger problem on the interstates today, and they want to make sure the shelters are open for emergency vehicles. The Georgia Department of Transportation told us they're suspending all construction work to help with traffic flow and keep the lanes open.
I'm meteorologist Glenn Burns here at the College of Charleston. The students are very excited, and NASA is especially excited, and I'll show you why coming up.
Live, local, late breaking. This is Channel 2 Action News at noon. Coverage you can count on.
Happy now, we are less than 2 hours away from the solar eclipse hitting Georgia. Look at that clock there countdown. Here is a live picture from our team at the University of Clemson, and they are in the path of totality as people march on in. Our live Team 2 coverage continues with Chief Meteorologist Glenn Burns live in Charleston, South Carolina. And Glenn, you are right next to a NASA scientist.
Yes, a NASA scientist from Georgia, as a matter of fact. This is not only an opportunity for NASA to study the sun, but how the sun actually impacts the technology both in Earth orbit and on the surface. Now, the scientists will be watching the most studied eclipse in history, and scientists will be learning about the sun and the corona, especially the lower corona, and that's where all the action is, like the solar flares and where they happen. Now, they'll be also studying the sun's shadow and the changes in clouds and temperature that happen as the shadow moves across the United States. That'll take about 90 minutes or so. And NASA scientist Alex Young, who's from Macon, Georgia, says that information that they learned today will help them create better computer forecasting.
And they impact us here on Earth. In particular, they impact our technology. So just like studying terrestrial weather to save ourselves from the damage of storms, we're interested in saving ourselves from the potential damage that can be caused by, or the disruption of technology by what's happening on the sun.
Now, the total solar eclipse, it'll be here in about 2 hours from now. It takes about 90 minutes for it to cross the country, the shadow of the moon. And we're going to be here watching that. The skies are a little cloudy right now. Hopefully the sea breeze will kick in a little bit later and bring those clouds on out of here. But we'll be covering it nevertheless at wsb-tv.com. For now, we're live at the College of Charleston. I'm Chief Meteorologist Glenn Burns.
People have also started gathering in downtown Atlanta. We're about 2 hours away now from when we do expect to see the solar eclipse here.
And Channel 2's Taisha Fernandez continues a live Team 2 coverage from Woodruff Park. Taisha, some people have waited in line for hours.
I need to show you this line right now. Take a look. There are at least a couple hundred people here at Woodruff Park in Midtown. I think maybe even more, because I can't even see where the line ends. I know that many of these people have been in this line since 9 o'clock this morning, and that's because the Atlanta Fulton Public Library System is giving out free glasses, and since it's first come, first served, they had to come secure their spots. Take a look at this video. We also know that several people who are working in their office buildings right now will be sneaking out. Some bosses know that they'll be coming outside for this rare event that we all at Channel 2 have been talking about for months. The people who have been waiting in this line at Woodruff Park in Midtown must have taken the day off, though, because they, as I mentioned, have been here for hours. I asked some people in line what makes them so attracted to the solar eclipse.
I want to tell my grandchildren about it, and I want to be a witness so I can say, you know, your grandmama was there.
Our assignment today is to be all over Midtown, downtown, and Buckhead, so make sure you keep a close eye on our website, wsb-tv.com. Download our free app, stream us there, and watch all of our live broadcasts on Channel 2 Action News starting at 4 p.m. Fred Carroll, back to you.
Aisha, thank you. If you think this is not really an event, take a look at that line. We're telling you what. That was fantastic. We've been closely monitoring the forecast to see if it will cooperate with the eclipse viewing.
Meteorologist Karen Minton is live in Severe Weather Center 2.
It isn't going to be totally clear, but we should have a good view of things. Currently, temperatures are really heating up in the upper 80s. That adds a little lift, so that does help in the cloud development. A couple little stray showers have popped into the extreme northeast sections of Rabun County in northeast Georgia, not far from Clayton. Hopefully this will rain itself out before it's time to see the eclipse roll through. But you do see partly cloudy skies across the city, and that's going to be the trend. This is our path of our sun going through, and this is where we're going to see the path of totality. Outside that range, though, we'll have a partial eclipse here, and that will continue starting at 1:05 here, and about 2:36 is when it will be peak in the Atlanta area. We will not go to totality. It will only be covering about 97% of the sun as the moon passes on. So watch those temperatures. By 1:05, we're at 90 degrees, heading toward 2:36 at the peak of the eclipse. Again, not total in Atlanta. It is in the mountains, however. It will have about a 40% cloud cover through 4:01. That's when it ends, and we're back to normal again. Temperatures pop up. Notice 85, 90, 85, and 90 again. So coming up before the end of this newscast, I'll take you through the 5-day forecast to show you what to expect the rest of this week.
Happening now, we are monitoring the roads today for the eclipse. Officials are preparing like they would for a major travel holiday for record crowds. Channel 2's Jason Durden continues our live Team 2 coverage in News Chopper 2. He's in Hall County near Highway 53. Can see that traffic moving slowly.
And this is the worst of it that we've seen on 985. Really, most people got up early, got on the roads, and got on out there. At 8 o'clock this morning, we had a lot of bumper-to-bumper stuff headed north on 85 and 985 out towards northeast Georgia. This is 985 at Highway 53, and you can see it's crowded here, but they're moving along. It's not that bumper-to-bumper stuff that we saw earlier today. On 985, you can expect to be in and out of pockets of heavy traffic leaving I-85 and headed up north of Gainesville, and of course at that point, you get into that red light controlled section of 985 and on up to 365. As far as 85 is concerned, it's looking like slow patches off of 985 and really in spots on out towards Commerce right now. We're live over Hall County in News Chopper 2. Jason Durden, Channel 2 Action News.
And here is a look at the eclipse. Check that out. Isn't that beautiful? People on the West Coast are getting their first look. We have live Team 2 coverage, including a NASA weather balloon that can see the eclipse beyond any clouds.
And at one elementary school, the biggest lesson happening outside today. One of those lessons, a solar s'more project to see whether or not the sun's energy is strong enough to melt those marshmallows. We'll have much more on how they're celebrating the eclipse coming up.
Solar s'mores, I like it. Here today's winning Cash 3, Cash 4, and your Georgia 5 numbers. Happening now this afternoon's eclipse has become a major teaching tool in metro schools, and there's hope it creates a new generation of scientists.
Channel 2's Lori Wilson continues our live Team 2 coverage in Southwest Atlanta with how teachers are using the eclipse as a science lesson. Lori?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been so fun to watch these little scientists kind of observe what's happening in their solar eclipse bags. And what they're finding is that the chocolate is melting right now on these solar s'mores. It's just one of the lessons that students are taking part in today. This school has been preparing for the eclipse since school began 2 weeks ago.
They might go to sleep or they might go blind.
At M. Agnes Jones Elementary School in Southwest Atlanta, these second graders know today is special. These are the hens they've been watching since they hatched.
They turn to little chicks and then they start to get big and bigger.
Today, they're making predictions about what Cocoa Puff and Valentine might do during this historic eclipse.
They might be running around. I think they'll go away from it.
The sun, moon, and earth. In this fourth grade classroom, they're using toilet paper rolls and scissors and foil.
We're making a solar eclipse.
With a little tape and teamwork. And why are you taping it down? Do you know?
So it can be flat, so it can have a base, so it won't, tip over.
This is like our biggest dream. Real-world experiences right here in our own backyard.
They understand the importance of today, that it's something they'll always remember.
Because it's a rare thing.
And the rules to keep them safe.
Don't take off your glasses.
This is just actually building background, building interest, stimulating their intellect as it relates to STEM.
And you see, even these young students have their little clipboards with them to mark their observations on these solar s'mores. So far, guys, we know that the chocolate has melted. They want to leave it out a little longer to see if the marshmallow will melt. We're going to be here because they're hosting a school-wide blackout party during the eclipse. So we'll give you that fresh perspective on today's historic event coming up today a little later. Live in Southwest Atlanta, Lori Wilson, Channel 2 Action News.
Laura, you know what your one job is right now. Bring back a solar s'more.
Don't worry, Fred. That's already in the works.
All right. Thank you very much, Laura. You can also follow our solar eclipse coverage online at wsb-tv.com. We have everything you need to see, including a live stream of the eclipse as it moves. We also have a special newscast online this afternoon as the eclipse is over us.
Well, we have clouds in the metro area, just partly cloudy skies, a few showers in Rabun County. I'll show you how long they should stick around in just a minute.
And Karen, we're looking good at Clemson right now. Just some mixture of clouds and sunshine. On the West Coast, though, the eclipse already underway. These pictures now from the West Coast is the eclipse about an hour away here from Clemson. This is the view from the ground. The view from space, though, you're going to see that here at Clemson. I'll be back with more after this.
Now, crowds are settling in across North Georgia with the solar eclipse a little less than 2 hours away. You're looking live. This is Rabun County. Channel 2 meteorologist Brian Monahan continues our live team coverage from just across the South Carolina border at Clemson, where they're going to spend more than 2.5 minutes in totality, Brian.
And 35,000 of our closest friends are going to be here doing that with us as the shadow of the moon, that 70 miles large swath of the shadow of the moon is going to pass right over here in South Carolina. Now, let me show you the scene of what's happening here right now at Clemson. The weather, well, couldn't be better. We got a few patchy clouds, some hazy sunshine. That's pretty good for eclipse viewing. We've watched this crowd grow through the morning. It's felt more like a football tailgate for the first solar eclipse to crisscross the U.S. in 100 years. While people are having a lot of fun, well, there's also some serious work being done here as well. Just beyond the stage, what's happening right now? Well, a balloon, it's being blown up. It's a weather balloon. And right over here, just to the right, well, that's where the information coming from that balloon is going to be monitored. It's going to provide a view of the eclipse from the edge of our atmosphere, more than 100,000 feet up, looking back at the Earth. It's a view unlike any other, and I just found out that all systems are go for that launch.
Everything's looking really good. I mean, the first thing we check is weather, and the weather's been fantastic. A little hot, but fantastic for ballooning. Nice clear skies. Other than that, we have our ground stations all set up, and we were able to stream video to Clemson. We had a little bit of an issue, but we were able to fix it, so we got both our streams going. Now the only question is everything on the balloon going to function all right? That way we can get the actual video from the balloon.
And there's a lot of different ways to view that eclipse. We've seen a lot of telescopes out here. Of course, a lot of people with those solar eclipse glasses as well. Now, the balloon launch, that view you're going to be able to have from space, you're going to be able to catch that as well. That balloon's going to be launched about 1:15. We'll have that view for you coming up on wsb-tv.com. Live in Clemson University. Severe Weather Team 2 meteorologist Brian Monahan, Channel 2 Action News.
Well, we'll look forward to checking in with you later this afternoon. Thank you, Brian.
From South Carolina to the West Coast, you are looking live at the start of the solar eclipse. Look at that moon right there hurtling in front of the sun. We are less than 2 hours from seeing it here in Georgia, starting to look beautiful. And Channel 2 meteorologist Katie Walls continues our live Team 2 coverage from the TELUS Science Museum in Bartow County. Katie, we partner with TELUS for this historic event.
Fred, we've been working on this partnership for months. And by the way, that partnership is why we have tens of thousands of these. We have given away tens of thousands of these special solar eclipse glasses to school children, and we still have another 1,700 available here at the TELUS Science Museum in Cartersville. Check out this line. Folks continue to line up. They are excited for this solar eclipse. Now here we're expecting 97.7% totality right around 2:35. And again, still seeing some of these glasses left over here in line. So certainly good news there. Now, I've been chatting with some of these folks, and there's one particular individual. He's from Riverdale. Now, folks have traveled from far and wide across North Georgia, and I want to introduce you to Robert. Robert is from Riverdale, and
Hi.
Robert, why are you so interested in being here? Why did you drive here today?
Well, I drove here today because this is probably, I think, the first United States only solar eclipse to happen in, I think, about 200 years.
About 99 years, but close.
Yeah, okay. Good enough for me.
So why is it so special to be
It's all American, and it's going to be, and at a time like this, I think something like this is something that we all as a nation need. Something that we can all come together and enjoy.
Yes.
From East Coast to West Coast.
Thank you, Robert. Perfect. Bringing everybody together, unity through the eclipse. Right now, I'm live in Cartersville. Severe Weather Team 2 meteorologist Katie Wells, Channel 2 Action News.
Whether it was 100 years or 200 years, people are excited about this, Katie. Thank you very much. Talking about that, the last time we saw a total solar eclipse in the U.S. was 1979. Take a look at this coverage from the rare event 38 years ago. ABC News anchorman Frank Reynolds took viewers through the various stages of the eclipse as it passed through Portland, Oregon, and Helena, Montana.
What we're really seeing here, that sliver of light that is slowly disappearing behind the clouds there, is not the moon, but it is the sun. And now it's gone.
And how about this? He ended the newscast with a hopeful message of world peace during today's solar eclipse. What a message that was.
You can watch the start of the eclipse on the West Coast during ABC's special 2-hour show at 1 this afternoon. And we're going to live stream with our reporters and photographers covering the eclipse starting at 2. You can watch online, Facebook, and our free news app.
And we are counting down to the solar eclipse. We have live Team 2 coverage of this historic event, and we are tracking our eclipse forecast. Will the clouds get in the way? We hope not. Happening now, the anticipation is growing as the solar eclipse moves across North America. I mean, look at this. This is a live picture of the eclipse right now. It started earlier this hour over Oregon. And take a look at the crowds in North Georgia where they're expected to experience a total solar eclipse. People in the metro area will only see a partial eclipse, so going to be great. And the eclipse is expected to reach its peak just after 2:30 this afternoon. Starting to get close. We have time for one last check of your all-important solar eclipse forecast.
We've been waiting patiently every minute, hoping that it stays clear. Let's check in with meteorologist Karen Minton.
Well, up in Rabun County, which is part of the solar eclipse, also as you get into Clay County, North Carolina, they are too. But we've got this shower here. It seems to be expanding and moving a little bit to the southwest. So hopefully that will clear out in time for you all to see it. Bubbled up some clouds here, so we'll be viewing that eclipse as we look through some of those clouds. And this is the time frame. 1:05, it begins here in the metro area. It's hot in the low 90s, 30% or greater cloud cover. 2:36 at the peak, only a partial, but a peak. And look, temperatures take a dip. As we head through 4 o'clock, it's ending. Those temperatures pop back up into the area. As we check out your 5-day forecast, we continue to watch it. This afternoon in the warm side, then the eclipse occurs, and then it's gone. The rest of the week is still warm, but the best chance of rain will be at 40% on Wednesday, and then much less going into the weekend. Check out everything due to the eclipse on Channel 2 Action News at 4, 5, and 6.
And, of course, we've got you covered on everything eclipse.
We do leave you with a live look at the eclipse as it moves across the U.S. ABC News will have special coverage of the Great American Eclipse just minutes from now at 1 o'clock. Download the WSB-TV News app as the eclipse moves across Georgia. Our local live streaming coverage begins at 2:15.
From North Georgia to the eastern coastline, we'll see you again on Channel 2 Action News at 4 with live Team 2 coverage like no one else. Have yourself a fantastic afternoon. Woo.